Blog Talk Radio.
Ignition sequence start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Tarot Today radio show. I am your host, Mary Brown, coming to you live from Amarillo, Texas, on this very chilly day that we're having in Amarillo. You are listening to the Psychic Talk Radio Network, and you can find us easily by going to psychictalk.net. We have a live chat room going during the show. You can find that by going to psychictalk.net/chat. It is on our Facebook post for today's show on Facebook. And while you're there, and to find it, join our Psychic Talk Radio Facebook group. We have a page, we have a group. Like the page, join the group. We are a live call-in show. We will be doing mini readings for our callers today, or just letting them ask us what they want to talk about. The call-in number is 714-816-4628. Again, the number to call is 714-816-4628. And if you have a question or you want a mini reading, be sure to press the number 1 on your dial pad so that we know that you want to be on the. Our topic today is love and relationship theme, tarot themed decks, oracle themed decks, spreads, and so much more. We're talking about the love because tomorrow is Valentine's Day. But before we get into all of those wonderful things, let's go ahead and bring on my fabulous co-host, Dr. Dax Carlisle. Dax, hello, are you there?
Hello, I'm here.
Happy almost Valentine's Day.
And happy Psychic Saturday.
Psychic Saturday. Yes. Hey, I wanted to share with you, and for our listeners who aren't in our Facebook group, and as those who are in our Facebook group know, I share a card of the day every day, and I thought it would be appropriate to pull a card from one of my love-themed decks that I have. It's an oracle deck called Love Notes Oracle Cards by Lisa Atkinson. And the card that I pulled today is called Love Begins Within. Because before we can fully love others, we need to love ourselves. And how do we do that? We release all the baggage. We release the disappointment, the blame, and the expectations, anything that we feel guilty about. We need to stop beating ourselves out. Remember, everyone has shortcomings. And the more that we are able to release all those things so we can then be more in line with the love that we have within, the better it's going to help us in our relationships. It's going to open us up to love others once we love ourselves. I remember a great quote from Oscar Wilde: "To love oneself is the beginning of a lifelong romance." So I just wanted to share that with everybody today. You can find the card by, again, joining our Psychic Talk Radio Facebook group. And I guess I should mention this show, like many of our shows, are brought to you by the Tarot Guild. And we also have a Facebook group for the Tarot Guild. You can find that, join that, and we'd love to have you there. And anything else that you want to say about the Tarot Guild? Because they do sponsor the show, right?
Right. And well, on our group we have 6,300 plus members, all talking about tarot. Yes. And a little over a year ago, we created a brand new website for the Guild. Our 10-year-old website, our static website, the server died. And, instead of just putting up another static page, hey, we're the Tarot Guild, we decided to create a fully functioning social networking website. What's a social networking website? Well, you guys are all familiar with it because you use Twitter and Facebook and you use Instagram and all of these platforms. They're social networking systems, and the bigger ones like Facebook have all those things. Like you have your own profile on there, right? And you can message other members of Facebook. You can friend them. There's groups. All these, there's events, there's all these kind of things. All of those same features are on our website, thetarotguild.com. And we've changed things up a little bit for 2021. We had a premium membership. I never liked the word premium, so I changed it to professional membership. We have a professional membership and an associate membership. The associate membership is free. You just come over to thetarotguild.com, and at the top of any page, click sign up. Just sign up for the website. You can use your social media account. You can use Twitter, Facebook, Google, or just put in, an email address and a password. And boom, you get your own profile, and you can use all the features on the website, and it's 100% free. You can also go to thetarotguild.com/join. That page explains all of the features with the associate membership and also our professional membership, which has all the benefits of the free associate membership. But you also, like live chat and customizable profiles, private messaging, access to forums, groups, and everything like that. But you also get your Tarot Guild professional membership certificate, discounts on certification for tarot readers if you're a professional reader. If you're new to tarot, you can take my tarot and numerology course at half price as a professional member. And you get access to the private professional members group on the website. When you get certified, you get a listing on our professional readers directory. Discounts on the higher certification levels. There's 4 at the Guild. And we also will do featured reader video interviews with you. You can come on this show as a guest and be our guest on the radio show here, Tarot Today Radio, on Saturdays with Mary and I, or on Fridays with Dr. Rose and I as well. And additionally, you get access to create your own groups, create events, and post articles on the website, as well as exclusive interviews, classes, workshops, and events we do throughout the year just for professional members. So, yeah, it's we also changed the price. We lowered it down to $39.99. It's $39.99. It was always $39.99 to renew, but originally you would sign up for $78 your first year, and the number of cards in the tarot deck. But we decided to make it it's just $39.99 to sign up, which not on purpose, but incidentally, comes out to $3.33 a month. So it's the master number, the angel number 333. I did not plan
Funny
that.
Funny how that happens, right? Well, sometimes it just happens that way. So, today you were also, and I don't know if it, we have new people listening today. Maybe we do, but they don't maybe know that also you are, like, at least for me, you're the numbers guy. You are the guru for numerology. And, is today's like one of those master numbers, isn't it?
Yes, it's a master number day. Before we jump into that, I wanted to comment on your card of the day because on the Friday show yesterday, the title was Finding Your Soulmate. And it actually turned into more attracting in your soulmate than finding your soulmate. You'll have to go and listen to it in archive, folks, on psychictalk.net. But we talked about what you mentioned about releasing the baggage and blocks, where it's not so much how do you go out and find the soulmate. It's how do you release the blocks and the baggage and become the person that's going to be able to be in energetic resonance with, vibrationally with the person that you want to attract in. Yeah, so go listen to yesterday's show in archive. We also talked about, the difference between soulmates and twin flames and, whether Rose and I believe in that there's, one person out of 7 billion people across the entire globe for us, kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so many different theories on all of that. It's kind of wild.
Yeah. And depending on how many calls we have and everything, if we, and after we do our topic today, we could always chat about that as well. But the entire date, 2/13/2021, if you add all those numbers together, you get 11, and then 1 + 1 is 2. So it's a 2 date, which is relationships, cooperation, it's partnerships, mediation, getting along with people, that kind of thing. But before the final reduction, like you said, it's an 11. That's a master number. Anytime you have double-digit numbers, so 11, 22, 33, 44. And 11 is the master illuminator number, okay? And it's also a psychic energy along with the 2, with relationships. So it's not just relationships, but it's also intuition about yourself and others and that psychic connection. And I pulled a card of the day and got the High Priestess, which is also about intuition and getting into your psychic ability and so forth. The day itself is the 13th. 1 + 3 is 4. That's how we reduce in numerology. It's simple addition, folks. And we get 4, which is structure. And so today would be a great day looking at, that 11/2 Master Illuminator 11 number energy and the High Priestess and the structure number of 4 for the day. This is a great day to work on your spiritual practices, to take up meditation. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to do meditation for 20 minutes or half hour. Try 5 or 10 minutes to begin with.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So today's all about getting in connection with your intuition, your psychic ability. As you interact with other people, you're going to want to listen to your gut. Take a gut check on everything you're doing when you're dealing with people. And so that's what's going on with the numerology of the day and the tarot card of the day.
Wow. It's kind of interesting how it all fits together like that. So, love and relationship themed decks. I'm kind of a little bit of a rabid collector of cards. Yeah, maybe just a little bit. And, there's so many out there. There's like tons of them out there. And, look, I love decks that, address the different areas where, I get clients with questions, and relationships and love is a big area for my clients. And so is career and stuff. So I purposely, for years, have kind of, sought to have some of the decks that address those specific areas. And so I do have a few related to it. I mean, the the Love Notes Oracle deck by Lisa Atkinson that I posted a card from today is one of them. And you know what I look for. First of all, I wanted to ask, like, is that something that you got into at all? Like the, card, it's the decks that are designed with a specific area of inquiry, like that, like
well,
love?
I know it's really popular. A lot of readers, they have a whole bunch of decks, and depending on what they're doing the reading on, they'll pick a certain deck. Also, what they will do is if they have an in-person client, or, well, even if they're not an in-person client, they'll show all the decks they have and let the client pick a deck, okay? And then when you have things going on like Halloween, New Year's, and Valentine's Day, I mean, any of these holidays, there are themed decks that people will use for readings during that time. I never got into that myself. I just use my, traditional Wade Smith deck, or I use one of Ciro Marchetti's decks, or the Llewellyn deck. Actually, yesterday's card of the day, I drew from the Llewellyn deck. I took a nice picture of it, put it on the article on the Tarot Guild website. You can check it out at thetarotguild.com. Just click on articles and look for yesterday's post that I did, and you can see this beautiful image. It's also on our Psychic Talk Facebook group, our Tarot Guild Facebook group, and I just love it, the Llewellyn deck, because it's done in watercolors. It's just gorgeous, And I just use my, one or two or three go-to decks. And honestly, doing a lot of readings online, I will be doing a video conference with somebody or an audio call. And just like here on the radio shows, I'll have my digital Orifleeze deck up, and I'm just, push a button, shuffle, push a button, pops out the cards, and then I read the cards. And it works just as well as with a physical deck. So I never got into the themed decks, but there are some really great stuff out there. I did want to mention before you go on with more of your decks that they can go over to the post for today's show on psychictalk.net. The easiest way is to go to all the Saturday shows. So it would be psychictalk.net/Saturdays and look for today's show, Love and Relationship Themed Spreads and More. And I have a couple links there, one to the Lover's Path Tarot and one to the Heart-Shaped Lover's Oracle, which is not a tarot deck. So I put one of each up there. People can go check it out on Amazon.
Awesome. Yeah, and I think that, look, I think you make a really great point, because it's not necessary. You don't have to have a love-themed deck in order to do readings on relationships and love. It's really just kind of like what speaks to you, like, does it speak to you to work with a deck like that? Or, do you feel like, no, I like my standard deck, or, whatever. So you can still do those kind of readings without using a specific deck that's been designed to address it. I don't always use a love-themed deck, even though I have a few. The Lover's Path that you mentioned is absolutely one of my favorites. And, you're right. There's a ton of them out there. There's a ton of tarot decks that are themed around love. There's a ton of oracle decks for sure that are about relationships and love and stuff. The reason I like the Lover's Path in particular is because I think that it is, gives you these great archetypes. So you pull a card, and the card and the artwork. It's done by Chris Wald here, who did the Goddess Tarot. The Lover's Path Tarot, all of the cards are kind of based on Greek myths. So you have these classic characters from Greek mythology. You have those classic stories. You really have, another set of archetypes to pull into your readings and to, work from as far as ideas and understanding of what the individual card is about. And I like that because I'm a fan of Greek mythology. Now, somebody who never read a Greek myth or somehow never heard of them, somebody new to the planet, maybe, that might not appeal to them. So, when and if I recommend, any of these decks really for people to get into, it's like you don't have to get that deck in order to do a good reading, but it might be more informative if it speaks to something that you're already into. And that's, and that kind of concept is sort of true with what you mentioned about, how many different kinds of themes there are in the tarot decks that are available out there. Because, if it's and that's kind of a good rule of thumb. If it resonates with you, go ahead and give it a shot. See how you like working with it. If it's out in left field and something that you just don't feel any interest in, then skip it.
And, I think it's also true of the tarot spreads. That's the other part of it. Yeah. Because, like when we had the New Year hit, we all pulled out our New Year's tarot spreads, and there's billions of them. All you got to do is go on Google and search, right? And what I did was I took my go-to spread that I use all the time, and I just adapted it to the new year. And I had the 4 quarters and of the year, and then the overarching, energy of the year. I didn't go all out and pull a card for all 12 months, or anything like that. Gosh, you could pull 52 cards, right, for every week if you wanted to. But, it helps a lot of people because a lot of these spreads will have, specific placement for each card. And it'll be related to the topic at hand. And, of course, here it's relationships and love that we're talking about. And, yes, there's dozens and dozens of love and relationship themed spreads out there, and I think they're really a great thing, especially for people that are new into reading the cards, to give them some kind of an anchor where, they're getting answers to specific things. The way I like to do it is I like to just, again, adapt my regular 5-card spread that I do, and then what we do is, instead of having a spread pre-made with the different areas or ideas or questions relating to love and relationships, I rather sit there and do it on the fly. So I have a conversation with the client. What do you want to know? Okay, and also instead of pulling, remember with these spreads, you're talking about 1 card per placement, and each one will be meaning something different, right? And that's perfectly fine, but I like to pull like 3 cards. So I'll have my main spread, and we'll look at that, and then from that, we'll get an idea of questions to ask. I'll let the client ask questions, or we'll discuss it and come up with, okay, we need to know about this, so I'll pull 3 cards. And then we need to know about that, so, okay, we'll pull 3 cards. And that way it's more free flow, the way I do it. Maybe that's a more advanced way of doing it, but I find it works really well, because you're also getting more information for each thing, because you're pulling, 3 or more cards for each question or topic or something that's coming up with the client.
Well, it's interesting because I always feel like once you have 3 cards, you have a sentence. Like I feel like you've got a story, you've got like an answer that's like kind of has a kind of beginning, middle, and end to it, in a sense. And I kind of do a similar thing. I call it my telephone spread, and just use a 5-card spread that I use for almost all my readings, and I layer it with 2 additional layers of cards if it's a more in-depth kind of thing we're looking into, and that way I wind up with 3 cards per position. But you know, you can always Google, you know, relationship spreads, love spreads. There's a lot of wonderful ideas out there. I had one that came to me this morning that just kind of, I was thinking about the show today, and it just kind of popped into my head. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. You could lay out a number of cards, however many you want, so that the cards kind of form, you know, a flower. I thought about, you know, like do a flower spread. So, you know, that classic, like, pulling off the petals, he loves me not, he loves me not. You could create the flower with the cards, and instead of pulling off petals, you flip over the cards on they love me not. And each card would give you
I really like that one.
It would give you kind of a nuance of how that love is reflected or how that love could manifest. You know, if you flip over a card and it's the 2 of Cups, it's like, hey, he wants to be with me. If you flip another card and maybe it's the 7 of Cups, it's like, he's procrastinating. You know, however, just as a quick example, you know, different ways that you could do that. And even so, if you're somebody that's really into flowers, you know, there's a lot of our audience that is into working with flowers and flower essences and herbology, and they know a lot of. You might even decide to design a spread on a specific flower, and then you would know how many petals it has. You know, just, you know, don't be afraid to create your own, see what other people have created as well, and give things a shot. You know, see how it works for you.
You know, I like that even better, what you said about make your own. Mm-hmm. You know, and I'm not sure how many people that are new to tarot are unaware that, you know, these, whenever you find a spread for New Year's or a holiday spread, a Halloween spread. I love the Halloween spread. Love and relationship spreads, or spreads about finance, or, you know, whatever it is. These were made by people just like you. This is not some ancient thing that was handed down through the ages from the 1400s when tarot first came into existence. That's not what's going on, folks. You know, you don't have to use this spread because it's the lover's spread. You know, there are dozens and dozens and dozens that people have created. And, you know, if they've created ones, you could create your own to use. Yeah. And it's actually a fun exercise, too. You can look at what other people have done. And I've actually found myself doing that, Mary, where I'll look at, you know, half a dozen or a dozen spreads for a particular thing, and I will take bits and parts and pieces and move things around and create my own spread.
Yeah, and, you know, I've even created spreads on the fly because love and relationships, we think they're, I don't know. Sometimes I think we think it's a real simple thing, but sometimes they get really complicated. I have clients that are really into online dating now. You know, our modern world, especially with the pandemic going on, there's a lot of people, you know, flocking to online dating websites in order to meet people, since they can't, you know, meet anybody in person as much as they used to be able to do. And so you talk to people through those sites, right? From what I hear from my clients, you have conversations going, you get to know them. And I'll have clients that are talking to like 3 different guys, you know, that are like, okay, these 3 guys, they seem okay, we seem to get along good, but which one should I really consider? And so I'll do, like, you know, quick comparison where I'll pull like 3 cards for each of these people. So you know, sometimes in our modern world, the way that relationships have their really unique characteristics now, you end up having to adapt to that, because ultimately when we do a tarot reading, for me at least, it always starts with the question. And if the question doesn't fit the spread, you got to, you know, be able to adapt, you know.
Yeah, and Mary, the love triangle spread. I can see it now. In the shape of a triangle, you know. And what about other types of relationships too? I mean, look at the modern era.
Yeah.
You know, we've got polyamorous, right? You know, and how it, and there's 3 people involved. There's you and 2 other people. Okay, how is this person relating to this person to this person, that person to you to this other person? You know, and so you could develop a whole spread for polyamorous people. I can't even say it right. I don't know if I'm saying that right.
Polyamorous people,
there's all kinds of relationships out there now.
Yeah, the sister wife spread. You know, like, you could do that too, you know, if you're in one of those situations where you've got sister wives all, you know, around one man. You know, love is, what do they call it, you know? Effervescent. They call it a lot of things. It's like, and even what is it? You know, what feels like person doesn't feel like love to another person. How we define it, what we even mean by it. You know, what is it? The Greeks had 9 different words for all different kinds of love. You know, so yeah, you gotta, you know, be willing to, you know, try something new, adapt, and that's how.
And like on yesterday's show, when we were talking about soulmates and how that's different from twin flames and all that kind of stuff as well, you know.
Yeah.
It gets very deep.
We are at the bottom of the hour. We're going to be taking calls during the second segment of the show here. But do you want to let people know what's coming up on the Psychic Talk Radio Network? What do we have going on?
Sure. Yeah, and this is the time to call in, folks, because we're going to go to those phone calls, and there's some people on there that haven't raised their hand yet. If you want to be live on air with us, press 1 on your dial pad. And let me give out the phone number, too, so people can get into the queue while we're doing the upcoming shows. Area code 714-816-4628. That's 714-816-4628. Remember, you can also jump in the chat, psychictalk.net/chat, and that'll take you right over to the chat post on the Facebook group, and get into the comments on that post. You know, below the post is comments, and we use it like a chat room right there on Facebook, and you can chat with us, you can comment on the show, and you can ask questions and ask for mini readings right there on the chat post. psychictalk.net/chat will always take you there every show. psychictalk.net/chat. But, of course, we would rather chat with you live on the phone if you can. Dial in 714-816-4628. As soon as you get through, press 1 on your dial pad, put you up into the caller queue in the order that you called in. And upcoming on the network, we are continuing our Weekend of Love here. We have shows all weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, related to Valentine's Day. And tomorrow, Sharona Rapsick picks up the ball with her Magic Universe show, and she's going to be talking about love magic. Ooh, I want to hear that one. Plus, she'll be doing open lines, she'll be doing open lines, angel Reiki, and free tarot readings all show long. So if we don't get to you today, hey, you can call in tomorrow and hang out with Sharona and find out about love magic. I want to find out about that myself, you know. We kind of talked a little about love magic yesterday on the show when we were talking about, you know, clearing the blocks and then attracting in versus finding the soulmate. So when I made the title for the topic, Mary, and I said, finding your soulmate, it was all tongue-in-cheek, because I don't really believe in soulmates in that fashion. And also, I don't believe you find your soulmate. I believe you attract them in. Completely different thing. Okay, so that's tomorrow. And then heading into next week, Monday, February 15th, Wisdom of the Soul with Janice Fuchs. And then on Wednesday, February 17th, the Compassionate Light Healing and Guidance Hour with Catherine Hahn. You know, I told her 3 or 4 years ago when she came on the network, can't you make that title shorter? You know I have to read that whole thing, right? You know, anyway. Anyway, for 2021, Catherine has stayed on Wednesdays, but she's changed her airtime. So now she's getting some evening folks, which is really great for her show as well as the whole network, really. She's starting at 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern U.S. time, and that's actually 6 p.m. her time because she's Central. So 4 p.m. Pacific, 6 Central, 7 p.m. Eastern on Wednesdays nowadays, folks. Make a note of that. And she'll be talking about her topic for the month, living the life that you were meant to live. And boy, I love that one. I really love that one. I'll be back on Friday the 19th with Dr. Rose Wilkerson. We will be doing a simple open lines, life coaching, and tarot mini readings all show long show. That's right. We're just taking phone calls on Friday, February 19th. And then, of course, Mary and I will be back on February 20th, where we have a special guest, certified tarot reader John Allen. And John he's been a member of the Guild since 2010, 2011, I mean, for forever. And he only just got back, onto the new website, because a lot of the people that we've had, thousands of Tarot Guild members, since 2004, but they all haven't found the new website. So we were really excited to get him back on board, and he's an expert on historical decks as well as Lenormand in addition to tarot. And so we'll have a lot of fun things to talk about, and of course we'll be taking your calls as well. So there you go. Yeah, and you can also check out all of these shows, and each title of the show is a link on the upcoming shows page. Go to psychictalk.net/upcoming, and I have all the shows listed all the way through halfway through March to March 14th. So you can see all the shows coming up for the next entire month of next 4 weeks of shows. And make your plans to listen in ahead of time. We got some great stuff coming up. I can't wait in March as well. So just go to psychictalk.net/upcoming and check it out.
Awesome. Well, are you ready to take some calls? We've got the chat,
sure.
The what do you call it? The caller line's filling up here. Okay, so our first call, the person who has been waiting the longest, is area 310. Area code 310. Caller, are you there?
Yes, I am. How are you?
Good. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Vince, and I'm calling from New York.
Vincent from New York. And what do you want to talk about today?
Well, I wanted to find out if you could see what's going on with my former employer and myself. Okay.
Did you have a specific thing you want to look at, or just kind of a general, what's going on with me and my former employer?
Okay. Well, my specific question is this: I was suspended pending investigation, and they blamed me for something that I didn't do. So a week later, they fired me. And so right now at this point, the union put in a grievance. I lost the grievance. So at this point now, we have the lawyers involved. And I have a conference call with the lawyers on Tuesday because they're going to look into putting in for arbitration on my behalf. And I'm just wondering if you see that happening, if you see me winning the arbitration, getting my job back. So if you could just kind of see what's going on with that situation.
Right. What's going on with that situation? Do we see this, potentially resulting in you getting your job back? Dax, do you want to go 1st?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, sure. And looking at it overall, the arbitration looks really good. It's leaning in that direction. It's not 100%. It's telling me that there's something left to be done, to really make it come out positive for you. I'm getting a lot of cards about reassessment, about stepping back and taking a look at the whole situation. And ultimately, it looks successful. I mean, I actually got the actual success card, the Six of Wands. It's looking very good as far as that goes. Now, that does not mean necessarily actually getting your job back. And I don't even know if that's right for you right now anyway. I think that's why the cards are saying, you need to take a step back from the whole situation. Is this really what you want? You may get some compensation, but move on to something else. I'm getting the Queen of Wands, which interestingly was the card of the day yesterday. And it's a card of independence and following your passions. I don't think you're doing what you're meant to be doing anyway. There's a silver lining to all of this. It's setting you up to reevaluate. I'm getting all these reevaluation cards, the Four of Swords, the Seven of Pentacles. These are cards about stepping back, taking a breath, looking at the overall situation. Is this even do I really want my job back at this point? There's going to be, a lot of issues with, regardless of, how the arbitration comes out, even if it comes out in your favor and you would get your job back, it's like, that's not going to change how people think. They're going to still have they're going to have their thoughts. They're going to have how they feel about you, how they feel about the situation. And, if it was me, I don't know that I would want to throw myself back into that. I might want to get some compensation of some sort, but I don't think I would even want that job back. And then the other cards, like I said, I got this Four of Pentacles, which is about holding on tightly to something. And it's in the very beginning of the spread. It's talking about, you're going through all this because you want to hold on to the job. But then the cards towards the end, the Success card and the Queen of Wands, is giving me a completely different thing. It's that, you're supposed to be doing something else, something that's more in alignment with what you're really passionate about, what you really want to be doing, and what is going to be emotionally fulfilling to you, not just a job. Okay?
Right.
Let's see what Mary's getting, though. Maybe Mary has some additional insight.
What's interesting is the cards that come up here are pretty interesting. Like, look, they're favorable to how this arbitration goes for you. Maybe what you get out of it. The central card is the Page of Pentacles. The Pentacle suit, often connected to money. So definitely, that is a possibility. But it's also pages especially are connected to messages, communicating, that kind of stuff. With the Page of Pentacles, I feel like it's just yelling at me, like, pay attention to the words that are being used during this arbitration. So for whatever reason, that's going to be important. And it's almost like saying, like, words are almost the center of this whole situation. The King of Wands comes up. I mean, objectively, if we could be objective, would you consider your former boss to be a little bit of a hothead anyway? Because that could be, part of, what's going on here. Somebody who can be sort of impulsive and rush to judgment. But the other cards that come up that really tie in with what Dax was saying. He was talking about finding something that's more in alignment with your passions. And I get the Ace of Cups. It's like, what's in your heart? How is this affecting how you feel, and is this, again, even the environment you want to be in. And then the last card here is the Empress card. The Empress card, it's the maternal archetype in the major arcana. But, it talks about nurturing. It talks about growth. And a lot of times when I think of the Empress, I think of I think of a tree with all the network of roots extending out, that we don't see. And so I feel like, it's saying, like, look, you are going to come out of this good, healthy, but definitely, consider like your network of different people and different options, and, are there other opportunities? Because that Ace of Cups, aces to me often indicate like, here's an opportunity coming up, so maybe there's an opportunity that comes up of this that is more something that you would really, like it would be better for you, so, but again, just on the arbitration itself, I'm getting all good cards for how you come out of that. So I hope we answered your question, and, my blessings with this whole situation for you. And, definitely call us in the future and let us know how it all, where the chips fell, I guess, how it all turned out.
Okay. Will do.
All right. Thanks,
Vincent.
Thanks so much, Viz.
Thanks. All right.
Bye.
That was
all right.
That was a great call. Great call. Before we go to the next caller, real quickly, shameless plug, Mary, I want to send people to thetarotguild.com/love, because I'm doing a weekend Valentine's special. It's actually a couples package special for everyone, and it includes 2 full custom numerology reports for you and your significant other, or somebody that you want to become your significant other. And what I'm going to do also is a compatibility analysis between the 2 charts and give you all of that wonderful information along with your personal year number for 2021, their personal year number, how that relates to each other, along with the world year number. And if that wasn't enough, I'm going to throw in a tarot reading as well. It's a $134 package for just $77. It's that master number 77. It's the God number. It's the Christ consciousness number, 77 and 777 actually. So just go to thetarotguild.com/love. That's thetarotguild.com/love. And grab that package. It'll be up for this weekend, and then it goes away Monday.
That sounds awesome. All right, so let's take our next caller here. This is area code 801. Area code 801. Caller, are you there?
I'm here.
Hi, what's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Charlotte, calling from
Charlotte,
Utah.
Oh, my goodness. We got snow here today in Amarillo, and we're expecting to get down to -10. We're getting an Arctic blast.
Are you, what? -10 in Amarillo?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep,
I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit whining because we're not getting a lot of snow, but we've had temperatures up in the 40s for the last 3 days, so it was disappointing to walk out to snow this morning.
Yeah, just when you think it's over, it comes back.
Exactly.
So what do you want to talk about today, Charlotte?
Well, definitely not love. We covered that last week.
Oh.
Hey, Charlotte, I have to tell you, Jax, I don't know if you listened to There's a Rock for That, my show last week, but Charlotte called in and was we were talking about stones. Chris did a show. You can find that in archive by looking for the There's the Rock for That episodes on psychictalk.net. But I was talking about all the different crystals that we can use, to support love in our life. And Charlotte called in, and with the greatest question ever, like what about Single Awareness Day, which is the other holiday celebrated on Valentine's Day. And we found some stones for that. Charlotte, I thought of you, I want to say, was it last night? It was either last night or the night before, because I was watching Real Time with Bill Maher, and he was going off on how politicians are always talking about families, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, more than half the country are single. How about us? How about, if you're into families, that's fine. Some of us, don't want to deal with all that. It was like, I'm like, I bet he celebrates Single Awareness Day as well. Charlotte.
Well,
that's funny.
I mean, the thing that I found the most humorous, though, because I thought the whole crystal thing was so interesting, but you're reading, and I could just see you trying to find the nicest way to say you really don't have a chance in hell right now because of things that you put into play in your life. And and it was, I was dying on this end because I could just see going, how am I going to tell her this? What's
the gentle way to say, come on, Charlotte, are you really going to change your life right now for someone? Oh, that's funny. But so what do you want us to look at today for you?
Just how about the general outlook for the next week?
Yeah, right. We're living kind of moment to moment these days. General outlook for the next week. Dax went first for our last caller, so I guess I'll take a shot at it here. So, what about the general outlook for the next week for you? And I'm just gonna kind of break that down to the beginning, middle, and end of the week.
Yeah, because I broke my rule about watching any more political stuff, and
crystal stuff or the news?
The news. Yeah, I've been riveted by just the impeachment trial coverage because I love the fact that it's history. That this is such a big moment in history, and unfortunately I was naive enough for most of my life to bemoan the fact that I hadn't been present at big moments in history, and now I know what it's like to be present at big moments in history. It's like, wow, it's different than it's better to read about it later, isn't it? But looking at your week, the main, it's a weird week. I feel like it's a weird week for you. I would say the main theme of this coming week is the moon card, So that's kind of interesting to me, and I unfortunately I can't remember where we are in the moon cycle itself right now. But it's hard to see the moon card and not think like, do you work with moonstone? Because I got that crystal thing always in my head. But there's an idea there. But the moon is fascinating because it is connected to intuition, as we all know. So, this coming week it might be, a really important time to pay attention to, what your intuition is telling you. The moon is also a great time of reflection as well, and imagination. And a lot of times, though, with the moon having, a lot of influence on us, we have this sense of like uncertainty and like things being unclear. I always like the comparison between the moon and the sun card. With the sun card, it's like looking at things. It's like looking at things in bright daylight. You know, it's obvious. It's everybody can see it when the sun shines on it. You know, when light is brought to things. With the moon, we get the shadows. We get the uncertainty going on. And so that is even more a reason to kind of be still and let things come to us and, you know, reflect on them. And it, you know, it's a card connected to water. It's got this sort of, you know, passive energy to it. So again, it's saying like, you know, that maybe this coming week is not a time to jump in or, you know, do something impulsive. I don't know that you would do anything impulsive like that anyways. But the idea of like sitting back and reflecting, I think is going to be a big theme this week. And the reason I think it's such a big thing is another card that I got is the Hanged Man. So the Hanged Man is another card that says like, okay, you know, let's reflect for a little while. Let's meditate for a little while on this. And then also, you know, Hanged Man really sometimes signals the idea of like shifting our perspective and looking at things like, you know, do a 180, you know, look at the other side. So if any issues come up this week and you're not quite clear on what decisions you should make, you know, do that thing where you look at the other side of it, you know,
right,
as well. So that's what I'm getting. Let's see what Dex is getting.
Oh boy, you covered so much there.
Sorry, that was just
no,
talking
that's
about
okay because I was like, I don't have to. Let's take a look here and see what's going on. I'm having a problem with my internet's acting up here. Let's see. Okay, so tapping into that last thing that you said, Mary, about choices, different opportunities, things like that coming up. You know, I got the Seven of Cups, and, you know, it's a card of fantasy and illusion and confusion and unable to make a choice between something. And I think that's interesting that it came up for Mary and it came up for me too, Charlotte. So it sounds really confirmed there. I think you're going to have a good week emotionally, and you can call in next week and let us know. The King of Cups suggests you're going to be able to get that equilibrium back again and just be very stable as far as the emotions go. Okay? And
that's
so
refreshing.
Yeah. And just remember that the Seven of Cups, you know, this card of confusion, disillusionment, unable to make clear decisions or unrealistic expectations, illusion, fantasy, things like that. It's cups, so it's an emotions card, all right? So you're going to want to step back and reevaluate it if you're stuck, especially making a decision or something like that, and come at it from an analytical point of view versus an emotional one. You know, usually I tell people to follow their heart, but in some circumstances the cards come up and say, yeah, this is one, you can't do that. This is one where you might make the wrong choice if you just follow emotions. You got to look at it analytically more, you know. And sometimes it's good not to make a decision. Sometimes it's like, okay, let me wait till next week, you know, put it off, think about it, and then maybe things will become more clear or change for you. The other cards are all talking about connecting with other people and, you know, kind of letting your hair down a little bit And in today's day and age, normally I'd be like, okay, this is when this week you need a break. This week you need to get away. You need to grab the girls, go out for a girls' night out, go dancing and drinking and all that kind of. We're not doing that nowadays.
No.
But that does not mean that there's not opportunities to get out there. And the World card is showing up. It's actually the only major arcana card. And it's the central focus card as well. And what it's talking about is when the World card comes up in these kind of situations, it's talking about the World Wide Web. It's talking about the Internet, that you can connect with people without having to leave where you are. And you can find groups of like-minded people and start up conversations. And that's going to potentially lead to something really good.
Well, cool. Kind of like I'm doing right now.
There you go. It's like what you're doing right now, exactly.
Well, thanks.
So you're
I
doing
hope that helps you out.
It's left me a little bit apprehensive, but forewarned is forearmed. Is that how that goes?
Well,
yep.
And also, I don't know if you're watching the chat room, but Sharona Rapsick made a terrific comment in there for you. She said, make a vision board to charge on the full moon on February 27th. So, whatever it is, maybe now's the time. I noticed you said it, it's right after the new moon, but maybe now's the time to sort of table any big decisions and kind of, wait till we get near the full moon at the end of the month. A vision board, create one of, what it is, that you want to see happening or coming in, or whatever you want to use your vision board for, and charge it on that full moon, and then you've already got, some things that you're already, putting the energy into to manifest.
Well, that's actually I never thought about charging a vision board with the full moon. I mean, I've done, charged my cards, charged my crystals.
Yeah.
Charged water, moon water.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. And I'll tell you that Sharona Rapsick, she is just an encyclopedia. She's an adorable encyclopedia of wonderful ideas. So I love that she shared that on the chat post today. And give it a shot. I might even try that too.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for calling, Charlotte, and let us know how it goes.
Thanks for doing some readings for me and chatting with me and laughing about last week and.
It's always fun. Always fun.
It is. Yeah. But you guys have a good weekend and enjoy your.
Me too.
Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Yeah.
Happy
Valentine's
Single Day. Awareness Day too.
Single Awareness Day.
See, and when you mentioned it last week, I just want to say this because it dawned on me today after watching Bill Maher and our conversation on the show last week. It dawned on me today. You know what? It should be Singles Appreciation Day. It shouldn't be just, we got to be aware of our singleness. It's like, hell no. Let's have fun with it. Let's appreciate this moment, when we are single and we have that extra freedom, and that self-determination.
Right, that independence.
Absolutely. Talk to you later, Charlotte.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, and I do remember that part, especially when you were talking to Charlotte last week and saying something about, but do you really want to change, your life and what you're doing?
Yeah, the cards were like, well, if she wants to make the space for it, but that's the question, and that's often the question, right? And that's the thing when we have relationships. If we're single and there's a lot of my clients have been single for years, and then along comes somebody, and they're like, okay, how are they going to fit into my schedule? How are they going to fit into my routine? And it's the temperance card, right? We find the middle path. We find the compromise. We find the way that we can come together, and we make space. We both make space. So it takes two. It takes two to tango. It takes two to do a lot of things. It takes two to make it. That song. I won't sing it on the air. It takes two to make it out of sight. Anyway, I guess I am singing it. We have another call. We're at the end of the show, but we have one more caller. Is it okay if we go ahead and take another call next?
Yeah, let's squeeze one more in, and if we don't get to you today, remember you can tune in to Sharona's show tomorrow. Magic, love magic.
I love magic. Okay, so our last call, our final call for today, is coming from area code 651. Hi, area code 651. Caller, are you there?
Yes.
Hi, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Christiana. I'm calling from Minnesota.
Christiana from Minnesota. What would you like to talk about today, Christiana?
I recently asked someone out on LinkedIn and was wondering if you see them accepting my invitation for coffee or not.
Oh, so this is somebody on LinkedIn, and you want to know if they're going to accept your invitation to have coffee with you.
Yeah, well, I know them in person.
Oh, well, that's even
what was
better
that last
then.
part?
She knows them in person, and she asked them through LinkedIn if they would like to get together for coffee, and what do we see happening with that?
I gotcha. Okay. Well, it looks like a pretty strong yes here. I'm getting 3 major arcana cards. Yes, yes, yes. And the 6 of Cups, another yes. So that's 4 out of 5. Yes, it could definitely happen. But do we want it to happen? Okay, before I get to that part. So the 6 of Cups suggests nostalgia. It's the nostalgia card. And so
what does that mean?
You have to tell me. I have no clue. I'm just throwing it out there. It could be that maybe with this person you get a sort of nostalgic feeling, or they remind you of somebody from the past. And this might be happening subconsciously, not consciously for you. I'm just going to throw that out there. Or it could be somebody or it could actually be somebody from your past. Something along those lines. But it's showing up. It's showing up, and it wants you to take note of that. Okay. And then, but the central focus card is the Tower card. So, although everything's pointing towards coffee date might happen, it doesn't mean it's going to turn out really well necessarily. The Tower card, it could be a catastrophe. It could, yeah. On a milder note, it could be just suggesting that, keep your mind open, because if you're too rigid in your foundations, the Tower card suggests a shift in foundation, a shift in beliefs, a change along those lines. And that's the milder interpretation, as opposed to the really, negative ones, which sudden change that's not good, abrupt end of a friendship, unexpected events happening, usually a crisis of some kind, collapse, something along those lines. But, on the milder end, it's a shift in foundation. So a change in beliefs. It may require what you were mentioning earlier, Mary, about compromise, and so I'm just going to say that how I would approach it is I'd have a very, very open mind about it.
Yeah, I'm pretty open, but I have a feeling that she will likely be more rigid.
Could be.
More
might
controlling.
Be, that might be what the learning is about.
I got a different kind of warning too. But look, on the question, is the invitation going to be accepted? I get the feeling, that it is going to be accepted. And even if it isn't, right, I think it's important to know that it's almost like this offer for coffee is this almost like extending an olive branch of some sort on your part. We have the Wheel of Fortune going into the Knight of Cups, a Page of Pentacles underneath it, the Six of Pentacles as a card of generosity. It's like, hey, let's give a chance to have coffee and get together and kind of see where things are at. And then I end with the Seven of Swords. Now, what can that indicate? That can indicate, some shady business, sometimes, or on the most gentle interpretation I have for the Seven of Swords is, if something doesn't add up, something's illogical. Maybe somebody isn't, flat out lying to us, and maybe they didn't, try to take something away from us, but at the same time, you may very well, it looks almost likely to me that the two of you are going to talk, over coffee. What's so funny is in the deck that I'm using, the White Sage Tarot, my Knight of Cups is this little otter holding a cup of coffee. Okay?
There you go.
So look at that. Now, I'm sure she's not an otter. Okay, that's fine. This deck that has animals in it. But she's holding a cup of coffee. So I'm like, wow, okay, it looks like they're going for coffee. And we go into the Seven of Swords. It's like, but somebody's not telling us everything. Somebody's not being open and honest with us, maybe. Or what they're saying just doesn't add up. Their attitude may just not add up. The thinking with the swords cards, because it's connected to the mental plane. The thinking isn't making sense. So you could have coffee, you could talk, and you would be like, man, I don't get where she's coming from, So maybe that speaks to the rigidity that you already feel, could be there. But I do think your invitation gets accepted.
Yeah, I'm hoping it'll lead to like an intimate relationship. Is what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, and sometimes when we talk about, things leading to relationships, we can find that at the start of that somebody has their guard up or that they have their wall up. I look at the Seven of Swords, and to me the sevens in the minor arcana, bear relationship on each other. Think of the Seven of Wands, where it's like literally somebody has their guard up. They're being defensive. They're saying like, okay, you can't come in here that easily. With the Seven of Swords, that's more of like the wall that's there in their mind, So see how it goes. Use that spirit of the Six of Pentacles where we're being generous. It's like saying, look, I'm coming to this with an open heart, an open mind, and my walls are down. Won't you maybe think about why you would have any up, See how it goes. Look, we don't get anywhere if we don't try. We've got to play to win,
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely a lot to be aware of, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you for the reading. Thank you both.
Thanks so much for calling, and call back in the future and let us know how it goes. And, ask about something else, even if it's going somewhere. Okay. Thank you for your call, though. Have a great weekend.
You too.
Happy Valentine's Day, and to everybody out there.
Awesome. Well, that was awesome sauce. And I guess we are at the end of today's episode of the Tarot Today Show. I want to thank my co-host. It was. I want to thank you, Dex, for joining me. I want to thank all our callers today and all our listeners today and later in archive, and everybody in the chat room. Have a wonderful, wonderful Valentine's Day. Anything you want to add as a shout-out to everybody, Dex, or let us know that we need to know?
No, that was pretty much it. Tune in for Sharona's show tomorrow, Love Magic. I'm going to tune in. And, just enjoy the rest of the weekend. Happy Valentine's Day. If you're locked down somewhere, find other ways to connect and other ways to celebrate.
Absolutely. All right. Well, have a great weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night, Grandpa.
Good night, John Boy.